Let's talk about that time that speedrunners learned to walk in the air. And no, I'm not talking about air walking. I'm literally about walking while floating in the air. This is something that Apel has shown us on Friday this week here, where he used the camo swap trick to land exactly on a ledge, and that had the game confused. Let's talk about how in Metal Gear Solid Delta we can now almost technically fly. My name is Elstis. I got back problems this week, so I'm gonna be standing as to be not sitting and killing my back the whole time. Hope that's fine with you. On Friday, Apel posted a new video and he showed us how in RASFED and Metal Gear Solid Delta he used the camo swap trick to forward himself and then exactly on one of those steppable ledges. Steppable ledges are, unlike boxes, something that you don't need to vault and press a command in order to vault it, but you can instead just hold your stick forward and move and then go on a higher level. What's interesting about this is, if you manage to hit just the right distance while moving forward with the camo swapping, you can airwalk then on top of the ledge, but the game thinks you're still on the previous state where you're not already on the higher plane. From there, the game allows you to just keep on walking while technically already floating. And if you combine that then walking upstairs, for example, or a hill, you can gain even more height. And the fun thing about this is the vertical height position of Snake's body stays the same. Even when you go over a ledge, it would technically fall down. Now with this new glitch activated, you can keep your height and you can gain even more height, as Apel showed in this video here. So for example in RASFED, we could technically at least use an alternative method of this camo swapping. And he even showed it for us at 60 FPS. Now you may be thinking, why is that not a big deal? Why isn't everyone already posting about that? That is because, well, after I sat down myself to live stream that whole thing and recreate that, I noticed it's really unreliable. Like, horribly unreliable. So when I was live on Friday, a lot of people joined my stream. For that I thank you very much. And we had sat down together as a community to try to make this more consistent. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 3 times in a row. That is definitely something that seems to be working. Yeah, that is definitely working. 𝐸𝐼 and our glitch hunter joined us, Apel himself joined us, and we workshopped a little bit how we can make this more reliable. We found at least out that you definitely need these simple step-on ledges, I want to call them, so we can use this glitch state to be like halfway on the top, halfway at the bottom, and then float in the air. There's a lot more locations where we can use that as well. So not just in RASFED we can do this, but also for example, 𝐸𝐻𝐻𝐻𝐻 South, and of course in the mountains area with 𝐸𝐼nz 3. And naturally the question is, well, if it's in 𝐸𝐼nz 3 and we can now float in the air, can we also go out of bounds? Well, once again, Apel showed this already in his video as well, and he managed to go out of bounds, walk around behind the walls, and managed to land in the hallway where the doors that would normally lead us to the next room where the Fury fight awaits us. Only one problem. When you go there before having talked to Eva, before the whole cutscene segment, there is no loading zone. Now, in the original Metal Gear Solid 3, especially for example on the PlayStation 2 version, there is a trick we can do specifically because the game runs at 25 FPS. The game just runs slightly different and the logic does not apply fully here. And so on 𝐸𝐼nz 3, just before you walk up to Eva, there's a little corner that you can vault over, and at 25 FPS in PlayStation 2 version, there you can actually land outside of the area and drop down from top into this little hallway. And that is specifically how on the European version so many of the world records have been set in the past, because this is a really useful trick that allows us to save a bunch of time, especially for example on PlayStation 2, where all of the loads are counting in, especially the long load times into the cutscenes, and Mountaintop has a lot of cutscenes. And so it would be cool to recreate this in Delta as well, right? But like I said, we played around there the whole live stream and we just couldn't find a way to make this work. I even tried going up to the mountaintop, talking to Eva, going through all of the cutscenes, getting them the key for that door, and then magically, even if you don't walk through the door, if you then actually take the time to glitch out, walk out of bounds, and land in that hallway, then you will be immediately teleported to the next area. Just trying to find a location where I can like go from top and then stand there. Oh wait. So I just teleported over this here. I was basically like over there, over here, and it worked. Now of course this is not useful. You want to do this before we have all of the cutscenes happen. But seemingly, like I said, the load just doesn't happen. Even if you're in this doorway here and you try to open the door, you can't open it from either side. So that doesn't do anything. And if you walk to the end where the stairs are, there's just a empty barrier where you can't do anything anymore. So that was already disappointing. Next to, of course, the fact that this trick is very finicky and partially unreliable. It seems like you cannot just brute force your way through this and do like 100 camel swaps to be sure to hit that ledge. No, if you do too many, you will just continuously walk into that ledge and not go anywhere. You just walk in there and stand there. And so I'm standing here right now wanting to tell a really cool story about a new glitch we found in Matrix World Delta, but so far the result is, it exists scientifically, and I can make a video about reporting this to you all so you're aware of that, but in factuality, right now this will not change the route. How much do you think this game was put well together? He's not interested. Well, fair enough. The old way of airwalking is still more reliable. Just take the ladder up, go on the rooftop, turn towards the gate and Rasvet, and then do like 16 to 18 camel swaps, and you should be good to go. Mind you, at 30 FPS. But there's more stuff still waiting. Apel has revealed he has like 3 more different glitches he found in Matrix World Delta, so I'm hoping he will soon reveal them to us, and maybe we can get to work another time on something else. But as a matter of fact, right now at least, if you don't like this airwalking trick, this new method will also not change your view on it, because even in any percent where we do use this trick to skip a lot of fights right now, the Ocelot unit, the Pain, and the Lab plus the Fury, it seems like that new method is just not worth it right now. And I gotta be honest, since yesterday people have been putting up videos how to fight bosses that probably are even faster rather than trying to skip them. So maybe the route of any percent will change even more and we get even better at fighting the bosses again rather than skipping them, making any percent basically a category where we just skip the Lab and the Fear. So I'm taking with me today here that, well, it's cool that there's still stuff being found, and there's potential for more to be coming around in the future. I'll be reporting on that as soon as possible, of course, whenever that comes out. Until then, I'll be back with another video another day, and I see you all soon. Thanks for watching.